All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. There's some scuttlebutt out there, some fans talking about, hey, Aaron Rodgers maybe is a Viking next year. Sounds like the Jets are going to move on. We're going to talk about that. Before we get into that, check out BetUS. Use the promo code YouTube150. Gets you 150% deposit on your first deposit up to $2,000, 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000. So thank you to BetUS. We'll be checking that site out here shortly. But Aaron Rodgers, got to talk about it. It's out there.
It's out there. Sounds like he will not be back in New York next year. I believe they have to release him. That put him on the open market. Vikings, Sam Darnold probably look for a payday with some other team. So that backup position for the Minnesota Vikings could be available. And could he go the way of Brett Favre, finish his career in that beautiful shade of purple?
Yeah, our quarterback room could be butt naked. Nick Mullins probably moving on. I mean, we got Brett Rippon. There's no really huge future there. So J.J. McCarthy, we definitely need a player. We're going to talk about why this might happen and if we actually think it's going to happen. Let us know in the comments. But you already said it. I mean, the big why is just he's a veteran. He's still playing okay. He's not Aaron Rodgers of old, but just straight up as a backup, be pretty good.
Well, yeah, Hall of Fame quarterback as a backup, even in his waning years, isn't the worst thing in the world. Also, you factor in Aaron Rodgers here in this system, KLC system, with the weapons at his disposal. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. Even in, a very old Aaron Rodgers can make that work.
Yeah, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions right now for the Jets. Completion percentage around 63. Not Aaron Rodgers of old, but he's still doing okay. The Jets have been kind of a disaster. But just the player himself, he's still playing well. He'd be 41 years old. What's he going to want to get paid? Is he going to be able to accept the fact that he's going to be a backup or a potential mentor until J.J. McCarthy is ready to go? McCarthy's still only going to be 22 years old. So there's a lot of options if he were to come here. It's just a matter of how it fits.
And that's one thing, I don't think we talked about before. We talked about this last night a little bit, but Aaron Rodgers, you look at the Hard Knocks, he seems like a good teammate. He was helping these guys out. So maybe with a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, he'd be more willing to do that and play that mentor role.
Doogie Wolfson came out and said he doesn't see any way this happens. I don't think a lot of Vikings fans see how this happens. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to think about him in a Vikings jersey, just like Brett Favre, having to watch the Packers see that would be fantastic. But J.J. McCarthy is the future. Nobody's doubting that for a second. He is the guy. So Rodgers would have to be a backup here.
Yeah, and I think you make that loud and clear if you do try to bring him in, and you're the backup. So it is what it is. You have no pull here. We're not making any trades that you want. We're in charge. You're the backup.
No Randall Cobb. No Alan Lazards. No
Bubba Franks.
Yeah, Bubba Franks coming out of retirement. We're going to talk about if we actually think this is going to happen. Let's go to BetUS real quick. Remember, use that YouTube 150. Lions -8. Colts. Vikings still -3. Wow, Commanders -10.5.
Wow.
Yeah, get your butts over to BetUS and get those bets in. So Aaron Rodgers, do we think it's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I get it. I get the intrigue. Hall of Fame quarterback who, long, lengthy history against the Vikings. But you look at what he did in New York. He pretty much wrecked that franchise. Coach is gone. GM's gone. He demands he demanded the Devontae Adams trade, which sent Mike Williams out the door as well. So he's kind of just ran that franchise into the ground. I don't think that's the kind of guy you want to bring into this locker room. Again, we just said, teammate to teammate, I think he's fine, but he also has this aura about him. I think he could change a lot of the vibes in the locker room to a very, very dark shade of purple.
I think the Jets ran themselves into the ground. Well, I think they had a lot to do with that. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is him accepting the fact that he'd be a backup or a mentor. I think if he's still playing, he wants to play, unless it's just a big stick it to the Packers, something weird like that, where he just comes to Minnesota on a cheap deal, which I don't see happening. I don't think the Vikings want him. And I don't do you want to put him and possibly taint J.J. McCarthy? Bring in a different type of veteran, more like the Sean Mannion type.
Ugh.
He's like a great guy, smart guy. Never is gonna compete for your job. That's the other thing. Aaron Rodgers, for some reason, they bring him in, and McCarthy just struggles. They're gonna be hearing that.
Well, the pressure will be there to do it too from everybody. So Doogie came out and said that he thinks, it's not going to happen. He said he thinks there's a better chance of Vikings end up with Daniel Jones as a backup than Aaron Rodgers. So let me ask you this, Onebar. Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers as JJ McCarthy's backup or Daniel freaking Jones? Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes is Danny Gross. Regardless of price tag, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers over Danny Dimes. Although Doogie's probably right. That one does make a lot more sense financially and just where Jones is at in his career. But if Rodgers was like, look, I'm going to be a backup, I'm going to shut up, I'm going to be his mentor, 100% Rodgers. But I don't think it's happening. No Danny Dimes.
Yeah, as a backup, I would trust Aaron Rodgers to win us some more games than Danny Dimes if he was thrust into starting some games for us next year.
All right, let us know in the comments. Aaron Rodgers, pipe dream to come to the Vikings in 2025. Let us know. Also, remember, hit up BetUS. Use that promo code YouTube150.
Pipe dream. Maybe it's a pipe nightmare. But remember this, guys. A cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds.
What?